Hello and welcome to the Shed Sounds Media YouTube channel. Today, as promised, I thought I would update on some of the releases which I've been involved in the past year or so. The reason why I haven't posted anything is because the Muffin set has taken up so much of my time, so I was busy. So this is the latest release from Fred Frith's Skeleton Crew, Free Dirt Live, and I wanted to show this first because it's actually an outlier among the rest of what I'm going to be showing, because I don't consider it really part of my mastering canon, but I did contribute a couple of tracks to this. Dave Newhouse appeared with this group briefly after he was with the Muffins, and I mastered some tracks that appeared on this. So I'm a big Fred Frith fan and a big Henry Cow fan, and I'm just really happy that my name's in this and that I'm associated with this. I've got work associated with this, and I thought I would show it for that very reason. All right, so we are going to now dive into some of my work proper. So you can see here, this one I think I've talked about before, Rich O'Meara's Red Chard. But in the back here is a newer release, which is a tribute to Rich's son, Kevin, who tragically passed away last year. And these are recordings which feature Kevin. It's a very loving tribute, and it's very good music. And I'm, once again, just so happy that I got to be a part of this project. And if you like this stuff, if you like percussion instruments, marimba, you really need to check both of these albums out, because I think that they bridge gaps between a lot of different styles of music. Oh, here is the latest release from Moon X entitled Zap, and this has a great comic book inspired design by Eric Kearns that I just love. And so this is the new iteration of Moon Men. This is a three-piece with Dave Newhouse, Jerry King, and Dave's son George Newhouse on drums. And I got to show this artwork because I love what Eric was able to do here. So up next is the first release from the Chicago-based band Refestramus, and in the back here we have There Is No Time, the album by songwriter and mellotronist extraordinaire Chris Barras. So first up, we're going to look at Decoupage, and this album is a collection of songs that are thematically tied in that there's a lot of references to Russian culture and literature, and I guess musically it's a bit like Styx. Like, it reminds me a lot of Styx, and I kind of like gave this music its own genre name of arena prog. So it's got like this big vocal melodies and lots of harmonies, and it's music that tends to be centered around the guitar and the songwriting, but it definitely has art rock tendencies. And the drummer here, Derek Ferguson, also works with Coloratura, my band. So we're going to look at There Is No Time, and there is one thing that connects these two albums other than me, and it's Jerry King's bass playing. He's actually contributed the bass to both of these records. I am actually working on a follow-up to both of these recordings. Chris was just telling me that the new There Is No Time track is coming very soon, and I think rhythm tracks are being worked on as we speak. But I love what Chris did with the artwork here, and I don't remember who exactly did this. I think he commissioned this artwork, but it almost reminds me of like old school comic books, like it just reminds me of stuff like science fiction media from the 50s. It's very cool. All right, so this is a bit of an older release here. This is the first Coloratura album, and this was produced while I was still in college. Me and Nathan James kind of worked on this album at night while we were working on other stuff. So it's got a very nighttime mystical vibe to me. It's early work for me. I mean, this is basically pre-professional. Like it's still my college work. So there's a number of things that are very amateurish on this in terms of the way it's recorded and put together. And I kind of give myself a pass on that because I was an amateur. I was learning how to do this stuff. I was discovering, and there's always the feeling, like, yeah, I've gotten better technically, like miles better technically. I've come just forward a million years, but sometimes I wonder if the raw enthusiasm for creativity is what it used to be. And so speaking of which, this is the updated release of the Coloratura project, and it's called Black Steeple Church. And I've talked a little bit about this on the program, but this is the first time that I'm showing it since it's been released. And I love how Eric Kearns was able to implement my photography in the design for this album. I'm really, really proud of the way this turned out. And except for the back, this is all photography. So, and there's no post-production added to it, really. Of course, the back cover is based on a concept by guitarist Derek Pavlik. And Derek has been working with me on the new Reef Astramus materials. So he's kind of my right-hand man when it comes to this stuff, and he can really play anything. All right, so this is some work that I did for Cuneiform Records. This is the latest solo record by Roger Clark Miller. He was in a group in the 70s called the Fourth World Quartet, and you will see more of his stuff, but he's also known for being in a punk band, Mission of Burma. But this stuff is very different. It's all based on his dreams, and there's a lot of great graphic design that goes into this release, because you can really see how the dreams almost look like they're out of a Carl Theodor Dreyer film, like Vampire or something. And I love that. Like I love the influence of old films coming into for the visual side of music, because I've always thought that visuals and music are two things that go together. Absolutely, and they're better together than they are apart. So the aforementioned Fourth World Quartet release. This is a record I was talking about, 1975. I love, once again, the visuals. Like, their charts they're not like traditional sheet music. I think that, some of it is, like you can see here, like some of it's traditional, but some of it is communicated with its own vocabulary, like these shapes. And it's a very modernist way of composition. Like it reminds me of like Legiti. See, the thing about notation is that it's so attached to a style of music. It's very relevant to that kind of music, but I like it when, music has to have its own vocabulary. Like it so exists in its own world. And I think that's what the Fourth World Quartet is. Like they really do their own thing. So this is the latest release from John Shirley and Jerry King, Escape from Gravity. John Shirley is apparently a quite famous science fiction writer, and there is a book of poetry that goes along with this, but I was absolutely blown away to discover that John Shirley wrote for my favorite Star Trek series, Star Trek Deep Space Nine. He wrote an episode that's kind of boggles the mind. It's the one in which Chief O'Brien is he can see like 2 hours into the future, and I think he ends up stopping a Romulan attack. So I'm really excited to work with somebody who's written for some of my favorite properties. He also wrote for Batman. It was Batman Beyond, but that's another thing that I loved as a child. So it's so cool to come around, like to come full circle, to see my interests reflected in my work is such a beautiful thing. So this is a record that I mastered for John Badema, who's a friend of mine from the Prague Day Festival, the festival that I work as a stage manager every Labor Day weekend. But this music is like an autumnal Prague hug. It's sort of like Wind and Wuthering if it gave you a big hug on a sad, rainy autumn day. So here's one of the releases in which I'm extremely proud of, and that's the Soft Machine Facelift, France and Holland 1970. This is a show that has been available before on various releases, but this is the most complete. Like we went back and tried to find the best surviving video quality, the best sounding audio, and it's all been remastered. It's all been cleaned up. It's been resynced. We removed a lot of the annoying canned audience noise, that sound, and it's this is music that if I weren't a part of it, I would probably be buying it and listening to it for enjoyment. So it's super, super cool to consider this as part of my canon. Like this is just amazing that this stuff is all connected. This is the second coloratura record. I don't know if I've ever had the chance to show this on the channel before, but this is another brilliant design by Eric Kearns. He took our crazy surrealist ideas and he made it happen. Inside is another photograph that I took outside the studio, and I love the submarines on the disc. That's just so fantastically inventive, and it was all kind of Eric's idea. Like he brought this stuff, the submarines and such. Like I had the idea to put the subs in the clouds. Like you can almost kind of see them on the back because that was a dream that I had. So this is a release by the Afrozen All-Stars, and I have 2 copies of this. I opened the other one. I kept this one preserved, but it's one that's exactly what it says on the tin. It's Afro jazz, and it's very enjoyable stuff. Like it's one that I would probably listen to. So this kind of gets you up to date. This is all the stuff that I've been doing in the past year or so. Mostly what's kept me busy is the muffin set, and you can see that's a massive undertaking. It was 12 discs and 1 DVD, and the reason why it's not included here is that I did a whole video, like an unboxing video for that showed it in detail, and you can check that out on my channel. But I believe that's all for me for now. Once again, it's been really nice talking with you, and if you enjoyed this, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate your support. Also, if you have any questions, you can comment. If you're interested in contacting me about a mixing or a mastering project, feel free to do so. I would love to work with you in the near future. But as for now, that's all for me, and I hope to talk with you real soon. Alrighty, bye-bye.